I liked it regardless. I eat a lot of stuff now, not caring what's in it. I'm a monster.
Not caring if it makes you trip. I like a soup that is at least somewhat psychoactive.
What are you eating food for if it's not psychoactive? Also, we're trying to take a Joe Rogan tint to the episode.
Yeah, we're leaning from now on. We want $2 million because we want to buy rednecks.
And we hear talking about paranormal stuff sometimes, and then being way into psychedelics gets you a couple million from Spotify. So we're all about it.
If we buy rednecks, if let's say by some fucking insane stroke of luck, some relative none of us knew about, all of our uncle dies, and he's like,
we get King Ralph.
We get King Ralph, yes. He's like, I leave you $2 million with one condition, that you use it to buy the rednecks.
Sure.
Would that mean
yes
that we are now the rednecks? Or would it mean that the rednecks are kind of at our beck and call, like
that's
sort of
what
a
I was
demonic
thinking.
Summon of sorts?
That's what I was thinking. And now the rednecks is forced to produce the world's greatest bluegrass paranormal album that's ever been thought about.
This is insane. We need this. I need this to happen. I could spend the whole podcast talking about this, but I'm not
gonna. What a good way to make this happen, though. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/werewolfradar.
Damn, Roger, that was so good, dude.
Well, I want the rednecks.
What a pro. Dangle the rednecks in front of him. He'll get anything done.
Rednecks, the ultimate carrot.
I did want to talk to you guys. I'm going to do my segment, which I'm going to say, I think this is something of an expose. I'm going to blow the lid off of some shit over
It's been a while since we've blown the lid off something. I say go for it.
Look at all these lids. Why did all these lids get all over everything? Blow them off.
We've been distracted.
Pow, pew, pow, pow, pow. I learned recently in trying to figure out how to do an effective cleansing of a space, a spiritual cleansing, because I'm all kinds of fucking woo-woo like that. That smudging may be the most commonplace, accessible, kind of Instagram friendly way to easily cleanse a space. Is largely thought of as being kind of culturally appropriated nonsense. It's the stuff that is in the bundles for smudging is rarely pure sage. It is it's not done in the fashion that a lot of people do it in. It is it doesn't cleanse spaces in the way that we kind of think of it. It's not like a rag that wipes a window off. It's kind of more like a rag that removes a window, and then you have to put another window up in its place.
All right.
It's very interesting and kind of misrepresented by popular smudging society as a whole. I've smudged plenty of room, and I've done it wrong every single time. So this is
can I give my misconception, I guess?
Please. Yes.
I assume smudging is you do it and the ghost either like chills out because it's like a heavy narcotic to them, and they're like, ugh, I'm so relaxed, I'm just gonna leave you alone.
Sure, like catnip for ghosts.
Or it like makes them run away because they hate the smell.
It's kind of so. I'm still not.
And you're going to educate us,
of
course.
Yeah. Well, and I'm gonna educate myself too, because I'm still not 100% on it. And it's as I understand it, when you clear something off with smudging, it kind of does scare them away. But what you've done is created a negative space, basically, and things can just come right back into it, and they'll be pissed off because you tried to cleanse them away. You have to cleanse a space, then you have to put up kind of a ward in place.
You've got to bless the space. Yeah.
Exactly. So I went looking around. I came to the Canadian Encyclopedia, or vice versa, Indigenous Corporate Training Incorporated. I think we're going to start with Canadian Encyclopedia and see what the other one has to offer. But this is the Canadian Encyclopedia entry on smudging. Smudging blew it. I already blew it right out of the gate. God damn it. Okay. Let's try it again. Smudging is a cultural ceremony practiced by a wide variety of Indigenous peoples in Canada and other parts of the world. Although practices differ, smudging is used for medicinal and practical purposes, as well as for spiritual ceremonies. The practice generally involves prayer and the burning of sacred medicines such as sweetgrass, cedar, sage, and tobacco. That's kind of the first misconception, is everybody thinks it's just sage because cedar and sweetgrass are hard to get a hold of, and tobacco, people don't want to burn that in their house. But
It does add a richness that is not as popular as it once was.
sure.
Wow, it's not like, smoking a cigarette while you sage up is gonna add the tobacco. I think you want you probably want a nice
full
smelling
leaf.
tobacco.
Yeah,
Well, no,
full
listen-
leaf
hey, listen.
tobacco.
Well, why not? You can maybe you just pop a Camel Crush in it while I have some sage.
Ghosts hate
Once
menthol.
again, now I think we're diluting the sage, and the ghost might
obviously,
not be affected by it.
Obviously, you're right. You would want this to be some pretty high quality,
Camel Crushes.
ritual grade tobacco, if you will. Colonization has repressed such traditions. The practice of smudging has survived to the present day. The word smudging comes from smudge. However, the term has been widely used to refer to the smudging ceremonies of indigenous peoples, in which sacred herbs and medicines are burned as part of a ritual or for cleansing or health purposes. Indigenous peoples have their own terms and phrases for smudging, such as Atisamanik, Cree for at the smudge, or Nukwes, Ojibwe for smudge medicinally. It literally just says the word for smudging comes from smudge, which is English in origin, but it doesn't go on to then define how does that relate to the practice? You know what I mean? Why that word? What is the definition of smudge? Can one of you
I will. Yeah, I'll work on
It's
it.
an old definition.
I gotcha.
Smudge. In practice, although indigenous nations have their own culturally specific smudging traditions, they typically share certain teachings. For example, all smudging ceremonies require some sort of vessel to carry the medicinal herbs in, such as a special container, shell, smudge stick, or ball. The shell is important because a lot of the time when you're doing these smudging ceremonies, it's invoking the 4 elements, and the shell is your water element. Burned in small amounts, the herbs contained in the vessel produce smoke that is said to have healing powers and carry the prayers of the people to the creator. The smoke is wafted over the face and body of the person being smudged, either by a feather, ideally an eagle feather, or by hand. The person guides the smoke towards the body with their hands, inhaling as it comes their way.
All right, are you ready for the depressing fact about smudging?
Yes, please.
Smudge, meaning make a smoky fire, is used by 1860.
Oh, crazy. I did not know that. Interesting.
It comes from, of course, meaning to rub out or in. So I guess essentially you'd be rubbing out a ghost.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
With
and
some
it-
noun
but-
meaning of, to make a stain or, to smudge.
Sure, but here it is specifically referring to smudge as a small fire, which I've never heard before.
Neither have I. That's a new one for me.
Mhm.
The magical definition, according to Amy Blackthorn's Botanical Magics,
Mm.
is just a ceremony of Native American and First Nations people of wafting smoldering plant material to cleanse an area of negative energy.
Okay, cool. When
3
a
different
room,
professions came together there to give you definitions of smudge.
truly, and it that is kind of smudging itself. It has kind of fallen into various different hands and various different interpretations. So this is, hopefully we can kind of get a cohesive middle ground here. The person guides the smoke towards their body with their hands, correct. When a room or place is being smudged, the smoke is directed around the location, around the outside, while the person conducting the ceremony prays for the negative energy to leave and for positive energy to remain. The ashes of the burned medicinal herbs are not discarded in a typical garbage receptacle. Rather, they are put outside onto the earth to signify that negative energy is placed outside of our lives.
Okay. A lot of symbology. I mean, this is a
Truly.
ritual, of course.
Hey,
and
we're doing magic here.
Yeah. Ritual
Smudges.
is the tool of magic.
Ritual equals belief equals alteration. Smudges are frequently led by an elder or spiritual leader, such as a shaman, or a shaman. That was me making a
Shaman,
joke.
shaman. That's
my
the song
favorite-
I sing to remember it.
my favorite Dean Martin song. Shaman, shaman. Though average citizens can perform their own smudging ceremonies when they feel the urge, and especially during times of prayer. Did you know the four directions teachings of the medicine wheel feature prominently in smudging ceremonies? In some
know.
cultures, four elements are represented in the parts of the ceremony: fire in the burning of sacred herbs,
Mhm.
earth in the herbs
Yep.
themselves,
Wind.
air in the feather used to fan the smoke and the smoke itself, and water in the vessel used to carry the herbs. Additionally, medicine gifts belong to the four directions, including sweetgrass, cedar, sage, and tobacco, each one belonging to its own direction. Purpose. Smudging serves a variety of functions in different indigenous cultures. As a ritual event, it is considered significant to spiritual and theological beliefs, as are sweat lodges and sacred pipes in certain cultures. Smudging connects people to the Creator and provides communities with a way to gain spiritual protection and blessings, as well as to improve spiritual health. The smoke created by burning sacred herbs is thought to purify the body and soul and bring clarity to the mind. In this way, smudging is also used to cleanse places said to hold negative energy. Consequently, smudging was and still is performed during times of crisis, ill health, and death. Smudging is also practiced to restore the physical self. Can it regrow limbs? Let's find out.
Yeah, this is where we surprise everyone. On this episode of Werewolf Radar, I am chopping off my kneecap.
Roger is cutting off that extra knee that is so offensive to look at.
Seeing if I can grow it back. I'm excited.
No,
Jordan,
not-
take us away.
It's not where you'd think it is. Smudging is also practiced to restore the physical self, associated with targeted parts of the body, such as the head, feet, back, and sensory organs. Smudging provides the whole body with a renewed sense of self. It's literally like a buff. It's like you can buff your friends and enemies for going
It's
on.
like a bless. You get
various-
one advantage on a roll. Your choice.
Yeah. According to some Ojibwe teachings, smudging the back allows for the release of troubles that weigh one down. Smudging the ears, eyes, and mouth provides for better hearing, visual, and language skills, and for a clearer understanding of one's surroundings and place on this earth. Respect for the self and for others, including the earth, is central to the various indigenous spiritual teachings and consequently forms the basis for smudging. In addition to individual health, indigenous communities both on and off reserve find peace through smudging. In the aftermath of residential schools, loss of territory and traditional economies, epidemics, and socioeconomic factors that have caused intergenerational trauma, smudging has provided a means of healing according to revitalized cultural beliefs. There were bans on smudging. There is a note on the cultural appropriation of smudging. It says over the last few centuries, smudging has become recognized and practiced by non-Indigenous peoples. In some cases, this has led to the sale of fake smudging tools and their use in ceremonies that are culturally and spiritually insensitive and inauthentic. Cultural, I do love the idea of somebody smelling sage and getting like super offended.
Where'd you get that sage?
Non-traditional blend. Cultural sensitivity appears to dictate a protocol of invitation for non-Indigenous peoples. Since smudging is considered deeply spiritual, non-Indigenous people seeking to participate in these ceremonies should respectfully contact people with credible Indigenous ancestry, wisdom, and ceremonial knowledge. Or if you feel that you have a good grasp on the practice of said magics, at least try to source your herbs from somewhere that's not Celestial Seasonings or whatever.
I suggest, and I watch a lot of
the awesome cult.
Yeah.
I
So
watch a lot of the Dead Files, and let me tell you how I suggest you just get the fucking shaman.
get the shaman, spring for the shaman.
But
Like,
and
oh,
that's
I'm
common
gonna
across. It's common across all magical practices. If you are practicing a magic that is rooted in a cultural tradition that is not yours,
Mhm.
it's imperative that you set the grounds where you come to the spirits that you're trying to speak with and use their power, and you ask them for
Yeah,
permission
you ask them for
before you do
permission.
anything.
Yeah. there you
Yeah.
go. Sage advice from our resident sage. And you know, it's the same as like, it's like dentistry. You could do it at home. Yeah. But it's spring for the shaman. Spring for the shaman. It's your birthday. But that's
Plus,
smudging.
you do
That
it
is-
wrong. You do it wrong. You're now like having demons upset
What
at
if you do it backwards and you invite things in?
Yeah, this isn't like
Um,
doing your own plumbing. This is a little bit more complicated.
There are also other ways to cleanse space, and there are other kind of cleansing and blessing rituals that I'll probably do on future episodes. But there you go. That's to clear up some of the misconceptions on smudging. I'm calling this fucking shocking expose "Smudging the Smudge."
Awesome.
Who smudges the
Beautiful.
smudge
Love it.
makers? You know.
Phenomenal, concise, hilarious, tons of bullet points. I'm not going to try smudging on my own ever. Let me tell
Yeah.
you that after this.
What if you went to smudge your room and
Okay.
you faded out of existence?
Oh, like I faded so
Like if you
hard.
smudge
I ended up,
yourself.
I faded, I smudged so hard. My parents never got together in the past.
You smudged
Oh.
into the past. I was thinking more what Nate said. It's like, oh no, I was the ghost all along. Sixth sense. I smudged myself. I was cleaning my
Oh.
smudge and it went off.
Like that Goosebumps book.
Like exactly like that Goosebumps book. And of course, I'm talking about The Beast from the East.
There's a Goosebumps book where this girl turns out she's the ghost the whole time. Sorry,
She's a ghost.
spoilers, but it's
like-
Goosebumps.
Yeah, I was a teenage goosebump or something.
It's the one where like supposedly they never involved like realistic things because R.L. Stein was like, I don't want to scare the children.
Yeah.
And this is the only book that I've read from R.L. Stein that was all like, the ending involves her family and her burning to death. Like everyone was a
What?
ghost. I was like, this is awful. I found the
Whoa,
rare gem
crazy.
of Goosebumps.
Yikes. Very
They all
scary.
go to heaven, but you know, like you
So it ends in
Yeah.
heaven, just like all of R.L. Stein's books, an allegory for Christianity, which is weird because I'm pretty sure he's Jewish.
I mean, maybe the Christian faith is the scariest part about it.
Oh my, could you
They should really open up the whole Goosebumps franchise to other authors, other horror authors. Like, do like a whole anthology have like Clive Barker's Goosebumps?
That's
vision?
incredible. Clive
would love
Barker's
to
Don't Go in
do
the
the-
Basement.
I would love for us to get our hands on a Goosebumps book.
Fuck yeah.
The Werewolf Radar version of Goosebumps.
Stephen King presents Night of the Living Dummy.
Maybe one day. Anyway, me, you, Nate, we should always
Wes
talk about this.
Craven's Say Cheese and Die.
Even better because he's doing it from hell
Yeah.
or wherever Wes Craven went when he died, into a
M. Night
dreamscape.
Shyamalan's Goosebumps. And he does the whole series in one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the twist is someone else directed it entirely.